Before we hear from the man himself, Steve Harmison, well, let's hear from the other man. You've known Ben for a long, long time, and I suppose we can only wonder what has gone through his mind over the last 2 weeks, which has led to him announcing his retirement in the fashion that we've seen today.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. I'm mixed emotions when it first was announced, or we got it about 5 minutes early. So my overriding emotions at the minute is from seeing a 15-year-old come into the Durham dressing room from an academy player to develop into one of the greatest players that's ever played for the game. Huge heart, huge winner, never known he's beaten. My emotions is immense pride that I seen that happen right from the very start, all the way through. It's a great day to be here. So from that point of view, everybody at Durham, so pleased for the career that Ben Stokes has had. Now it's one day from being over from an international point of view. Another emotion is sadness that Ben Stokes' career is coming to an end, and it's come to an end before, 12 months before an Ashes series. I think frustration and anger. Is definitely going through me at this moment in time, because I don't think this is what Ben Stokes really wants. I think he wants to play that Ashes series next year. I think he wants to play for England. I think he wants to be England captain. But for whatever reason, over the course of the last 2 weeks, and we'll find out in a short period of time, he's given his reasons right now, and we'll find out what it is. But for me, I want to talk about the immense pride that I have sitting here, that a kid from Durham has gone on to be one of the greatest players that's ever played the game of cricket for England. He's captained England, and he has had an unbelievable career. And that, for me, is that's the overriding emotion, rather than frustration and anger on how and why he's got to this position.
But that isn't going to be good enough, is it? Because there is an overriding feeling of anger and frustration, and there are unanswered questions, and we haven't really heard the truth from a lot of people, including Ben. And a lot of the messages I was getting from people in the game, and when I say that, I mean the people that pay their tickets to come to the ground. And there's some people out there who are a little bit annoyed with the way that this match has been thrown away a little.
Yeah, I think if you want to deep delve into the game situation, I mean, it has been. Yeah, you're right. It has been. The guy that's going to take over has just played an innings of 9 balls for 21 runs, and the opposition wicketkeeper has laughed him off the field. He has. Tom Blundell has just laughed Harry Brook off the field for the innings he's just played. Harry Brook could find himself as England captain, all singing, all dancing, England captain, come the first Test match against Pakistan. So, are we throwing the game away? I didn't think for 1 minute England had a chance to chase in 373. They came out.
They didn't give themselves a chance. We've just seen Daryl Mitchell face 230 deliveries.
100%.
And Emilio Gay on a pair, first ball, tries to reverse lap scoop in the final over of the day. And Harry Brook hits the first 2 balls, 1 for 6 and 1 for 4, and Ben Stokes could have been out 3 times to the first 3 balls of his innings.
I'm going to 100% agree with you. It's a good job you're going home tonight, because you're stealing me thought. I'm going to give tomorrow's tonight then, because the minute this Test match finishes,
well, it is finished.
McCullum's got to go with him. That's it. If we're gonna go through that conversation, John, McCullum's got to go with him. I've got a huge amount of respect for Brendan McCullum as a person, but this Bazball stuff that's not Test cricket. That's amateur hour. I'd love to know what Joe Root's thinking of this walking out to bat. I really love to know what Joe Root's thinking about this whole last 2-week period. But I think with Ben Stokes going now, Brendan McCullum's influence on this team now, I'm not convinced it's great for English cricket, especially in the Test match arena with an Ashes series less than 12 months away. If Ben Stokes is going, which he is confirmed this afternoon that he is going, then I think the ECB, the 2 Richards are right at the very top. If they're in control of English cricket, they've got to make a tough call now. And if it's Rob Key, if it's Brendan McCullum to go with Ben Stokes, then I think the right thing would be to start again, because the emotion of Ben walking out there, opening the baton, kamikaze style, second ball, trying to reverse sweep. I was angry when I seen that shot, because I was like, I don't want your career to end that way, Ben. But he's come out, he's tried to win a game for his country, and he's played the way he's played. And that's fine. He wants to send a message. He sent a message in his very, very first Test match, and his first year as as England Test captain. But Harry Brook walks out, he chips a few, and then he chips one up in the air. If he is going to be our next England captain, then the game of Test match cricket, the way it should be played, unfortunately, that's just not it. That's not it.
Let's see if this is what Stokes is just saying to Sky. An interesting 4 or 5 weeks. There's relief, happiness, excitement, sadness. All of those sum it up. It's been tough. A lot of captains will understand it. I've spoken to Joe and he gets it. It's the best thing I've ever been asked to do. I'll never begrudge any moment. The greatest honour on your shoulders as a player. But there's another side that people don't see, don't understand what you go through emotionally, and it affects you in a negative way. One of those, the whole Lord's Test brought back some kind of negative feelings about where I was with my career. Put time and effort in and potentially burnt myself out. Week at Lord's was interesting and strange. Too much time on my hands is sometimes not the best thing for me. He's had a lot of that since the Ashes, by the way. I gave myself every opportunity to see if it was a blip. And on retirement, it kicks you straight in the face. Putting my pads on yesterday was the last nail in the coffin. The build-up at Lord's, walking off the field, sitting next to Joe, then another scenario. Nothing can ever be simple in my career. That was unfortunate. But I love cricket, being back at Durham. I found a new lease of life, but couldn't get that connection here, no matter how much I was trying. The decision is the best thing for me, allows me to still love this game. Playing for my boyhood club Durham, I was buzzing. There's a lot to unpick there, but that sounds like a man who has reached the well and can drink no more. He is exhausted and he is burnt out and he is spent, but he is also, I think, pretty angry.
Yeah, I think he's pretty angry, and the truth won't come out tonight. It won't come out tomorrow, and I think it will take a little bit of time to come out, but it will eventually come out. There's a stubbornness of Ben Stokes. There really is, and that's what makes him great. That's what makes greatness. The stubbornness that is. You put him in the echelons with the great all-rounders that we've produced. I knew one of them personally for a long, long time. You look at another one. Ben Stokes is watching his retirement reel on TV there, and you can see him welling up. You can see there's a tear in the eye. Talking about his boyhood club, talking about Durham in that fashion. I still think there's a story, and there's still an underlying story on why he's come to this decision. And that's one that might not be played out over the course of the next week, 2 weeks, whatever. But I still think there's another element to why Ben Stokes will never play cricket for England again.
Ben Stokes, your country needs you. I think that's the only way he comes back. Something happens that we can't foresee right now. Jeremy Coney is with us. I mean, New Zealand are on the verge of an historic victory here. And do you think that England have made it easier for them? It didn't seem to be about the Test match for the last hour and a half, did it?
Well, it seemed a kind of a way that they felt they couldn't play properly and still get close to this target. And so they chose a way that they've used a bit on these pitches that makes batting in a normal kind of way. It rules it out, I just felt that said to me that England don't believe they could get this total batting properly. That they then chose to go from that idea to the other end of the spectrum, and so we're going to bat with a very high level of risk, and we're happy to do that. Now maybe it's the games like Melbourne that they felt that would be their best way of winning. I don't know. Mitchell, however, Daryl Mitchell's innings showed that with some grit and some ability and some determination, you could still play on this. It wasn't easy. He played a long, obdurate innings today, The first 50 took 170 balls. The second 50 took 71 balls, so it did get a bit easier the longer you bat. But he battled his way through it all. Partnerships with Ravindra and with Blundell, and Sears at the end, 19 off 40. So together, those players were able to post a total by playing what you would say is Test cricket. It is possible to bat on this and still get what they got, 290, something like that, didn't they? And then in total they had some runs from the first innings to get to that 370 target. So, and now England in 15 overs has scored a very high run rate, but they've lost 2/3 of their batsmen.
I thought it
was, and that's really what's.
I don't want to say that's gutless, but I'm very, very close to saying it's gutless, because you know what, Rachin Ravindra showed you can play positive on this wicket. He stood there with a straight bat and hit the ball down the ground. Bang. Had a plan, hit it down the ground. Mitchell showed bravery in getting hit, and he showed a bravery, but he got a lot of luck. Ball was hitting him, it was bouncing, it was going. Yeah, ball didn't bounce, it went along. Not one point did I see England's players trying to get through a little tough passage by just being out there. And do you know what makes it matters worse, because it gets close to the gutless bit, is they only had 3 bowlers. They only had 3 bowlers. From nearly the second over of the game, New Zealand had Nathan Smith, they had Folkes, and they had Santner and a bit of Ravindra. The rest at that point, the rest weren't in the game. And I come back to what I said right at the very start. The future England captain got 21 off 9 balls, and the wicketkeeper from the opposition laughed them off the field.
You're forgotten pretty quickly in this game, but the shadow of Ben Stokes is going to linger for a long time over this England team, isn't it?
Unbelievable. I mean, it lingered nearly, 15, 20 years to get from Botham to Flintoff. Wasn't so much longer. What was it, 4 or 5 years? From Freddie finishing in 2009 to Ben starting in 2013. I think it just showed you what this side is without Ben Stokes last week at the Oval on a half-decent pitch. So it is, the shadow will linger because of not just the player, but the character and the moments that man has given us. That's what we'll miss. We'll miss everything. Everybody will talk the positivity about Ben Stokes, but the moments that he gives us, the realization of what it means to play cricket for England, and in big moments of Ashes, World Cups, Test match series defining big moments, never lets us down. And that's what we're going to miss.
Before you speak, Jeremy, sorry, just a couple more quotes from Ben. There were some good times and bad times. The last 5 weeks, something else to overcome, but since the Ashes, I don't have any more fight. At 35, I have to do so much physical work, so much leans me towards knowing that was the right decision. I spoke to Rooty and Brookie last night and the team this morning. Let's crack on, see how the game goes. And it was a tactical decision for me to open the batting because of the wicket. And he says, as soon as it got announced, of course I'd have to take a wicket. Baz was like, bloody hell, you should have done that an hour earlier. You two both retired from cricket. When you know, you know? Is that how it ended for both of you?
Yeah, I think so.
Me too.
Yeah, I think so.
Nothing else?
No, you know, I knew I probably had a little bit more in me, but I knew that I couldn't beat the moment I was retiring from. I was on a field in an Ashes series about to win the Ashes. I could have gone to Bangladesh or South Africa, possibly could have had the summer, but I didn't see it was. I get that what he's saying there is getting up for not getting up for the fight, getting up for the fitness fight, because that is sometimes a problem as you get older. The fight in you is not a problem. The minute you cross the white line, the fight comes, doesn't it, Jeremy? You're an experienced player, you know how to manage the fight, but the fitness fight to keep going to the world, to get ready for that arduous summer, that arduous winter, I think that's the fight that's when the candle burns out.
Well, I think for a fast bowler, that's absolutely, and I can understand that. And Harmy, you're quite a big fella. So
I'm getting bigger.
No, you're not actually. But I can understand totally what you're saying about having to be ready, and that takes a hell of a lot of work and time. So, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't think they'll be able to replace Ben Stokes. If you look at the number of just his test figures, and just talking about tests, 246, more than that now, wickets, is it? Yeah, it was over 250, wasn't it now?
It's only two men that have done that. Callis and I was about to say Flintoff. And Stokes.
Yeah, and then over the 7,200 runs. So I mean, they're kind of figures that say this man will not be replaced. Just even as not even as a captain. That's not even talking about that. That's just talking about an all-rounder in the team and what you can possibly offer that team. Who are they? We don't know at the moment. Maybe a Sam Curran kind of thing. But that's not going to be quite the same as Ben Stokes, is it? The catches that he took, slipped. Remember that catch off Stuart Broad?
Oh,
remember those sort of catches here?
Trent, 2015.
Unbelievable. I mean, he was a great player. The catch when he was on the boundary, going back with one hand. Was that in the World Cup?
Yeah, South Africa, 2019.
Fantastic player. And rose to occasions. So that kind of, I don't know Ben, I've never met him, but I've watched him play, and I've really disliked him as an opponent. But I've got to say that because he was good, so good, and he can change a game, and you don't get many of those players.
It has been a really, really strange day, and tomorrow it's going to feel a little bit like after the Lord's Mayor show from an English perspective, but let's not forget tomorrow could be the greatest day in the lives of some of these Kiwi cricketers. And
they've worked hard for it. They've showed great character. They've showed great bravery and belief that they can come back from 1-0 down.
Few gave them a prayer of that.
Nobody gave them a prayer of that after Lord's.
Didn't.
After Lord's, they equivalently got beaten just over 2 days. To then come back from that, there was a lot of talk about their batters being aging. They're all going to go at the same time. We probably would have been talking about a lot of New Zealand retirements if this series had gone the other way. And as it happens, by lunchtime tomorrow, we could be talking about, I think, the first team to win a 3-match series in England since 2012, and that is a great achievement for Tom Latham and his men. And they will have deserved it because Will O'Rourke's been fantastic. Their bowlers have been superb, and Daryl Mitchell in this game showed what it takes to stand up and play Test match cricket when it's at its toughest.
Well, I think New Zealand showed us all today that the future is looking bright. The innings of Rachin Ravindra and the bowling of Zach Folkes, but it also leans on experience, and Daryl Mitchell's innings will live long in the memory for completely the other type of reasons that you would look back at some of Ben Stokes' greatest achievements.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed the determination and his general all-round play. You're right. He did have a little bit of luck, but that was the pitch providing those difficulties for him, and he showed determination. Obviously, a very obdurate innings. That's a long time to battle your way through, being, as you say, hitting the arm a couple of times and so on. So, and he had partnerships with other players. He played second fiddle to Ravindra, and then he started to, once he got that to 50 or 60, he started to open up a little bit more, didn't he? And showed us the shots he could play. So that always happens too as a batsman. Once you've been on the pitch, even though it's not good, you get used to it after a while, and you start to be able to play well. So yeah, key part to New Zealand. We'll see if they win tomorrow. You guys are more, you know what I'm like.
Oh, well, we do.
And so I'm cautious about those things. Let's see how they go. And I'd like O'Rourke to be there if it's possible, if he's ready to go.
It's forecast to rain all day tomorrow. Do you know that?
Thanks.
Only joking. It's Ben Stokes. Well, you want to talk about it, Harmy?
Yeah, that's Ben Stokes, his wife Claire, his 2 kids. That's brilliant. It's brilliant. The lost for words. He's been embraced by his family. Obviously, a long-time friend, and Chris Wilkes is there. But the 2 little ones, they've grown up. Ben Stokes he's grown up into a wonderful leader, and to think that Ben Stokes will never captain or play for England again, I still can't quite get my head around that bit.
Gareth Copley's gone early with the book, hasn't he?
He has, yes. He might get one of his own by this game.
Well, it's the start of Gareth Copley's new book over the next 20 years. It starts with the retirement of Ben Stokes. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time over the last 4 days. You'll be back tomorrow, of course, to see whether New Zealand can fight back from the brink of defeat to beat England. Can they possibly take the last 6 wickets, or will England chase down the 270 that they need to win? Harmy, thanks so much for everything. You'll be on talkSPORT a lot, I imagine, over the next couple of days. But for me, Jon Norman, thank you, listeners and viewers, to the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel, and also on the following on podcast. A full recap of Day 5 will be available to you, and of course, a very special following on will be dropping into your inbox at some point over the next couple of days as well. But for now, thanks for joining us.